My name is Loïc Perron and I'm going to do this race for the third time.
This is the second time I've competed in the Caribbean 600.
This is my first.
This is our second Caribbean 600.
This is my first time.
This is my fourth, 7 times now.
This is my fifth.
It's my first time sailing the race on Rafale. It's my first time on the Caribbean 600.
This is my second.
13 times, and this is going to be our 14th time. I'm trying to keep my record going.
Yeah, the 600 is a super tough race. Very enjoyable though. You know, you're sailing in trade winds with temperatures in the mid-20s, so it's pretty pleasant. Very challenging in terms of the race course. Lots of corners, lots of tricky geographical situations to deal with.
I've been prepped by the team that have done the race many times that don't plan on getting much sleep in this race. It's kind of you're up for the duration, and you'll be weary when you finish the race. So not looking forward to the lack of sleep, but I am looking forward to the change of scenery and the changing of conditions all the way around the track.
I particularly love being in Antigua. It's such a great place for sailing. I think it's just such a great race. There's a good camaraderie amongst the crews, and it's a great location. It's nice to get away from the northern hemisphere in this time of year.
Yeah, I'm expecting like a little bit like everybody, spending a lot of time behind the chart table, changing a lot of sail, make a lot of maneuver, and have a good time because that's what we liked. So it's gonna be perfect.
Crazy wind, route new islands, and of course because it's the famous race on the Caribbean.
We're looking for what? For the best for everyone. Yeah, I don't care about finishing first or last, I don't remember that. But I think it's important that everybody needs to be happy.
So the race committee get a great view of the competitors leaving at the start of the race. From the top of Fort Charlotte, you actually have the advantage of looking down on the fleet. You can see all the pre-race tactics. You can see what boats are planning to do from a long way off, much better than on the water. And it's a fantastic feeling with all the work that goes into the race to see the boats depart on their 600-mile race around the Caribbean.
We are making a project to sail around the world on each continent and each ocean. And now we have season on Caribbean islands. We We are still learning racing double-handed. Hulta is a vintage boat. We still preparation and trimming. When you're sailing solo, you decide everything. When you sleep, when you eat. Sailing double-handed, you make it more risky. If you sail with together, you have watch to watch. Watch to watch is really different.
I sailed two-handed with Claire. We've done the Transat together. We started sailing together at the beginning of last year. Very similar in some ways, but we've also got quite diverse backgrounds of how we've come into sailing, and so we use that diversity to problem solve. And with these big races, lots goes wrong. You know, you get lots of breakages, lots of problems with the boat that you need to fix. And so Claire is like my right-hand woman to fix the problems that we come across.
It's going to be tough for us double-handed. Lots of sail changes, lots of looking at expedition, lots of debate, lots of talk. We challenge each other, but in a really constructive way. And then we make a decision, we progress with that decision, and if it's not right, well, we do something different. Somebody once said to me, the thing about short-handed sailing is outsleep the enemy. And so we're really, really strict about that. So when you're off watch, your job is to go to sleep. And that's the most important thing you can do.
We're really proud to be sort of forging the way for women in the sport. I'm part of the Mente project, which is all about accelerating women in performance sailing. We get a lot of women coming up to us and saying that they're tracking us, they're following us, and that's really nice. And so we're here and we want to really inspire other women to get involved in the sport and to do what we do. I mean, we've both got full-time jobs, we're not professional sailors, and I just think if we can do it, anybody can do it. So to all the women out there, get sailing.
4 boats battled it out in the two-handed class, Hull Tie, Lift Gun and Purple Mist, but in the end the winner was the JPD 54 Notre Mediterranean Wilderness.
So with 5 different double-handed boats, from a really small one to us, the biggest one, everybody has its challenges on sleep management. We try to do 20-minute, 30-minute naps every now and again. Obviously, we didn't get too much in. We set out for a race without too many mishaps, which we achieved, and to be first in class is obviously very satisfying.
We are 3 days on the match every day, and yeah, you finish and you know that you're first. It's every time a great moment.
It was just a very challenging race course. Very satisfying to be here in the end. Tired because as double-handed boat, not much sleep, but yeah, nice race course, beautiful, beautiful scenery.
So an RC2, which is the biggest class in the race, Peter McWhinney's boat in theory, won their class again, had a fantastic battle with EHO1, Bella J and others, all the way back from the Barbuda mark, but thoroughly deserved their win.
Absolutely great to make it around. I have a wonderful crew, can't thank them enough, and they did everything superbly throughout the, whatever it was, 3.5 days. It's relief to get through the last beat. This thing's got a little fluky, but really relieved to be here and really happy. The run down from Barbuda to Nevis, that first run was beautiful. Sail with 6, so Aaron Sprague is co-skipper, Simon Karstoff, co-navigator, Com Crocker, Peter Fackler, and Pat Slattery. And it's an all-around crew. We all steer, we all trim, and the crew work has just been outstanding. One of the real highlights of this race was being in the mix with 3-4 other boats and match racing against them all the time. No, we had a good benchmark. We knew if we were messing things up, we knew if we were doing things well, and so we tried to stay close, and it worked out.
IRC One had a fantastic battle, all the boats finishing with a few hours of each other on corrected time. Final had a pretty good lead over the line, but in the end the classic boat Hound proved that the RC rule suits all, so a classic boat winning RC One on corrected time.
We knew it was going to be a fight to the finish. We had a time in our mind that we had to hang on to, and the competition was really pushing hard, and we were trying to stay up with them. We rounded Redondo, it was like amazing, and we sailed right into a hole. And sails were flapping, yeah. And then it picked up again and we were back in business. But yeah, it was touch and go there at the end. It was super exciting. Coming back to the Cat Club and having people on the dock waiting with beer was unbelievable. We had a great welcome, and it just capped off an awesome race. A lot of hard work, but an amazing team. I mean, I've never sailed with a better group of people. So this was really special.
IRC Zero saw one of the most highly anticipated battles in the well sail 50-footers in this fleet. The Guadeloupe Casino dropped Ran and Callisto. Black Pearl and Teaser Machine managed to sneak their way through, but in the end it was Teaser Machine that came out on top in RC Zero.
It's a race of action in which you always have wind. You are constantly between 15 to 20, 25 knots. So that's what makes this race so exciting. This year in particular, we had a fantastic 50 feet class in the IRC Zero with highly competitive boats.
All in all, we made a very good race. We improved quite a lot, so we're very happy how solid we are with the boat today, and the team is doing a great job making her fast.
Callisto had a fantastic performance. We were so close with them, and to have Callisto just behind us after La Désirade, and we stayed together 3/4 of the way, and we just finished something like 15 minutes behind them. So we had a great time racing with Callisto. It was absolutely fabulous.
Well, on board Callisto, it was non-stop from the start, and IRC Zero was stacked. We knew that going in, and the competition with these boats was minute for minute, boat for boat, and probably a dozen lead changes overall, and sailed well over half the race within 10 boat lengths of Teasing Machine, Black Pearl, and Ram. What impressed me most was how Eric and the team committed off Montserrat. They flew a kite when everybody else was on code zero. They went deep, and they set themselves off a bit further offshore to pick up that puff that sent them around the corner. So hats off to those guys for putting it on the line.
The other highly competitive boat in the class is Daggett. It's not the first time we see them on the 600. Last year they beat us. This year we beat them just about. Every time they are there about to win.
In this kind of race it's difficult. First you need to race against yourself, because that's the only way to do your best. And then you look at the fleet, and we know that Teasing Machine and Callisto also are very good crew. They have a very good boat, and like all the time it's a big fight. But we're happy to find all the time this boat on this kind of race. That's very interesting.
It's always such a cool race. So many good moments. Some tough moments. I mean, the leeward side of Guadeloupe is always a moment where you get to keep your nerves cool. I would say pretty fast angles rides with squalls yesterday morning, side to side with Black Pearl and Callisto. Fast power reaching, a little bit wet and wild. That's pretty cool. Give me a bit of memory of the Volvos. That's always good feelings.
RC Super Zero had 3 Volvo 65s, a couple of 70s, joining Pyewacket 70 in this class. Pyewacket 70 executed very well through the lee of Guadeloupe, extended their miles on the water. got the miles into the clubhouse, and in the end finished 2.5 hours in corrected time.
We have had pretty good success with the Pyewackets over the years, and I think it's mostly been through preparation and having a good team together. It's a well thought out and pretty well oiled machine, to be quite honest. The Pyewacket team was essentially started under Roy's father, Roy Sr. Both Roy and his father were very hands-on. The guys drive the boats, they own the boats. Unfortunately, Roy's not here because he had an accident and had to have surgery on his knee. Really devastated that he's not here because this was one of the races he was really looking forward to. And we absolutely wish he was here, and probably we would do better if he was here, you know, getting his guidance and insight on racing the boat.
By way of background, Jangada, for those that don't know, I've sailed double-handed for many years now. It's a 10 metre, 33 foot JPK 1010. The contrast here, we're going to have 20 crew, and the loads are just much bigger. Everything's bigger. You know, you can have up to 6 people all working in unison on the pedestals.
Looks like it's gonna be super interesting race this year. Few more Volvos than normal, so perfect course for everybody, same. So we have to keep the boat running quick. We have to make less mistakes than the others.
One of the goals was to get the chance to race this Volvo 70 against other versions of the Volvo 70. Our boat here, Pyewacket, was originally started its life as Telefonica and had a very successful Volvo ocean race. And it was purchased by some Australians, the Blackjack team. Australian team essentially turbocharged the boat. They put a taller mast, about 3 meters. The sprit is about 1.5 meters longer, and the boom is about 1 meter longer. We have a deeper fin and bulb than your stock Volvo 70. So as a result, we are the scratch boat, and we'll owe the other Volvo 65s and 70s a fair bit of time in the 600.
With the fleet, I think it's 7 Volvos racing, very closely matched fleet. So it will all come down, I think, to the teamwork and how the teams perform. That'll be a big factor in the race.
Each leg is like a race in itself, and so that keeps everybody going. And I'll tell you what, it definitely makes sleep a challenge for everybody because the whole team is up at every event or every rounding. Everybody is up, even though you're off watch or whatever. So it's a sprint. It's a 600-mile sprint, and our guys just did a beautiful job.
The nuances are so different, and when you get out there on the water, all your expectations can be blown, and this one was a great example of it. I mean, at least half the time I was wrong, or my expectation. It just goes to show, don't listen to the locals, just keep your eyes open, understand the fundamentals of weather, and be ready to adjust to the changes. I love Poland. They were our nemesis for the whole first half of the race. We got off the line ahead of them, but the next cross they were ahead of us. And I thought, okay, here we go. We're the new and improved version of the Volvo 70, but no, those guys sailed great. I was well impressed with them, not only the fact that they were sailing well, but they were way ahead of us on corrected time.
From very beginning of the race, we were racing against Pyewacket for most of the time, so we tried to catch them and push as hard as possible, and we found very nice piece for almost whole race until unlucky stop at the Guadeloupe.
Roy's dad, Roy Disney, set up the whole Pyewacket tradition, and it's a family, and it's a tradition, and it's cool to be part of it. And this boat is just one of many Pyewackets that have done incredible things in ocean racing all around the planet.
Oh my God, that team is so good. They are
the wow factor for sure. I mean, every single one of them, there's not one person on the boat that didn't do more than their fair share, and it was just fantastic. RP, thank you for letting us take your toy around the Caribbean and accomplishing the 600 in a successful manner. And super bummed you're not here with us to enjoy this spectacular victory. And I know you'd be proud of the whole team. So cheers, mate.
The MOCRA Multihull class had one of the most amazing finishes I think we've ever seen at the 600. They finished 11 seconds apart after nearly 30 hours racing on the water, with Zulu just pipping Maserati by that tiny margin at the end. But Tosca, the gunboat 68 with Alex Thompson on board, was the overall winner, arriving a little bit later in the day.
I remember we saw something like 37 knots for us. Well, probably Maserati did a lot better, but that's the kind of speed we are doing.
We had wind, we had no wind, it went up, it went down, it went left, right.
They catch us the 13 mile and they go ahead for 4 or 5 miles more.
Then we lost them. They were very fast going down to Guadeloupe.
We catch the wind before them, we catch them again, we pass them.
Managed to catch them up on the penultimate leg.
We was like at 3 knots and they was at 28 knots. It was crazy.
Up doing some matching for the last 5 miles.
We completely separated from them, and in the end we came back together very close.
And we arrived to the line together. I don't know if it's 11 or 16 seconds or maybe less or more, but we was really at 5 meters each other.
You know, the guys I'm happy to be sailing with. They're really, really good. They really know what they're doing, like Giovanni's crew.
We really enjoy either Maserati and Zulu team.
The race course is incredible. It's great fun. We had all sorts of different winds, conditions, sunny, rainy. We had lots of rain. At some point we thought we were in Brittany. And it's fun to be doing it with Giovanni and his crew because they're a great, great bunch of people.
It's a beautiful race and it's a beautiful rivalry. This time they win, but it's no problem. Next time we will win.
I mean, for the Caribbean 600 to have that amount of wind was just perfect for us. It wasn't really too squally. We had some squalls down at Guadeloupe, but apart from that, it was pretty steady wind and quite a lot of it. So we were fast most of the time. So, you know, as far as sailing goes, if you like sailing, that was the perfect boat to do it on. Yeah, now we see certainly in this kind of style of race, this amount of wind, we can be very competitive, and to be able to beat the Mod 70s, you know, we're very, very happy. For the Rolex Fast now, I think we're pretty much the same crew, so you know, it makes a big difference, that kind of consistency, and you know, I'm looking forward to having my co-skipper back for that.
So Pirelli and IBSA renewed their Class 40 rivalry from the Route de Rhum. This time IBSA was the victor, sliding through on the reach to Redonda and taking the class win. Not forgetting the other 11 competitors that make this one of the most competitive classes we see.
One of the most beautiful races in the world. It's a nice length, the weather's interesting, and you get to know the course better and better each time you do it. This time I'm doing it in a whole new class of boat, in the Class 40 fleet, which is going to be super competitive. So hopefully what I've learned on especially the Mod 70s will be useful for racing in this fleet. Our boat is number 159, and within those 13 boats we're about in the middle of the age range. So half the boats are older, half the boats are newer. There'll be some boats which are potentially faster. I think Pirelli, which is the Italian boat that came second in the Route to Rome, is going to be very fast. And there's other great boats here.
For sure the competition it's going to be really hard, but I mean we are here for this, so we are quite happy to have all these wonderful competitors against us, and I'm sure that we will discover something about sailing. Class 40 is a class, a really dynamic class. Every year you can see really different type of boats. Our boats is the last launched in the Class 40 division. It's a perfect race, you know, for a Class 40 in the beginning of the year. It's warmer than than winter in Europe, and then it's not so long, so it's 600 miles, really technical, really with a lot of strategy. After the race, we will know which are our strong points and which are our weakness. So it's going to be a very good start for the season.
I think the key is probably to have a fast boat and a good crew, and also to have a little knowledge of the race. I think if you haven't done the race before, you will definitely have to work out how to deal with the wind shadow of Guadeloupe. But I'm sure anyone doing a race is going to, if they haven't done it before, are going to be asking and looking at the tracks of previous boats, previous races. But I think those three things, having a fast boat, good crew, and knowing the course, is going to be critical.
It was my first time, so I didn't know what to expect, but it was incredible. This kind of boat can be really tough because the legs are very small, so there are a lot of maneuvers. It's quite intense, intense racing. I had on board a great team. Pablo did it a lot of times before. We worked very well together. We enjoyed a lot. So we were third at a certain point, and then we motivate and stay strong, and we pass the other this morning. So it was super. It was super. We never gave up. I'm very happy, and thank you. Want to thank the team. We did a super job, and also everyone that's working this super event. I'm really enjoyed.
Cheers! Cheers!
Cheers, bravi.
Ragazzi, bravi. Thank you. Well done. Well done. Bravo, bravissimo. This is multicultural. We did not know which language to speak, did we?
Yeah. Understanding was
everyone was speaking their own language at one point.
This race would not happen without the support of our sponsors, and it definitely would not happen without the great help that we get from the volunteer team here in Antigua. They're an amazing team. 24/7 they spend up at the finish, seeing you all in, telling you where they get the beer from, and taking your trackers back to the race office. So thank you very much to all the volunteers and sponsors from the race team. We look forward to working with you again.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon. Hope you find me. I'll be back home soon. When the sunrise, when the sun. Will you find me? Hope you find me. I'll be back home soon. When the sunrise, when the sun.